Hey folks, it's your buddy Fatal Roadie here. Today we're going to do the recap for Raw. Started off with a recap of Strowman, what he did last week, wrecking the backstage, then getting into a match with the Big Show. If you saw Raw last week, you already know what happened. It was just, last week on Raw type deal. Then we had Jericho coming out for the highlight reel, running down Kevin Owens, saying that Kevin Owens calls himself the face of America, and Jericho says he's more the hemorrhoid of America, which I kind of agree with him. The Miz comes out, tells Chris Jericho that the highlight reel has been canceled and it's now Miz TV, to which he then calls the WWE roadies out to change the set and turn everything over to the to Miz TV. He's getting ready to do his thing. Dean Ambrose's music hits. Ambrose comes out. Basically says no one wants to see Miz TV. Calls the roadies back out and changes everything over to the Ambrose Asylum. Dean Ambrose gives Chris Jericho a gift. This is in this box, and Chris Jericho says, I don't like the way the last gift went. Opens the box up, and it's a dress coat with a bunch of Christmas lights attached to it, to replace the one that Dean Ambrose messed up back on, I think it was when it was SmackDown before the draft. Dean Ambrose hits the dirty deeds on the Miz, and then Chris Jericho says to Maurice, "You know what happens when you marry the Miz? You just went on the list." The first match of the night was Sheamus versus Matt Hardy. Decent match. Matt Hardy got the win on the Miz. Matt Hardy got the win on Sheamus.
Bruh.
And this puts both Hardys with a win on both Sheamus and Cesaro. There was a little bit of a fight or whatever going on outside of the ring, which caused a distraction for Sheamus, and which allowed Matt Hardy to get the win. Cesaro comes into the ring, looks like it was about to throw down, and it ended off in everybody shaking hands. I don't know how that's going to face off with their match over on for Payback, but we'll have to see when that comes around. It goes now to backstage. Angle is talking to somebody about the dumpster match that's supposed to be coming up for Kalisto and Braun Strowman. I'll get to that in a second. He gets disconnected and he turns around and it's the Miz. And he's sitting there bitching about, like, this is how you have us treated. Angle says, if there's a problem, we handle it in the ring. So he puts him in a match with Chris Jericho and Dean Ambrose, and he has to pick a tag team partner. The Miz runs off. Maurice steps up and starts spouting off something in French to Angle, to which Angle replies, "Yeah, you too," which I thought was funny. We have a tag match with Austin Aries and Jack Gallagher versus Neville and T.J. Perkins. This is rehashing, the same matches that we had the past 2 weeks with them. Nothing very spectacular. T.J. Perkins ate the pin. Neville bolted out of the ring. Austin Aries is going up against Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship. I'm going to guess there's going to be a match between Gallagher and T.J. Perkins in probably the pre-show. It's all coming back into the SSDW. Same shit, different week. We're seeing the same people again. We have the dumpster match with Kalisto versus Braun Strowman, and I at first I was thinking this is going to be a rather screwed up match, because how the hell is Kalisto going to lift Braun Strowman and put him into a dumpster? But they had the dumpster right up against the ring, so I guess that kind of evens it out. Braun Strowman was basically ragdolling Kalisto the entire night. And Braun Strowman tried to throw him into the dumpster a few times, and he got out. He got away from it, not got out. Kalisto almost reversed it at one point in time and tried to flip him into the dumpster, and Strowman got out of that one. Went back to ragdolling a few times. Braun Strowman was standing on the apron right in front of the dumpster and was trying to pull Kalisto into the dumpster. Kalisto grabs the ropes, excuse me, and drop kicks Strowman in the knees, and which knocks Strowman into the dumpster. Kalisto wins the match. Braun Strowman gets up out of the dumpster and proceeds to completely smash Kalisto, which you saw that coming a mile away. Throwing him around, hammering down on him. He throws him into the dumpster, closes the lid, and pushes him up the ramp onto the platform. A bunch of officials come out and tell him, stop, which isn't going to do anything. Braun Strowman takes these straps that are on the side of the dumpster and straps down the top of the lid, so Kalisto doesn't get out, and then proceeds to push him off of the platform. A total of looked like about 2.5 feet. Very anticlimactic. It just fell over on its side and just didn't do anything. I was almost expecting it to, be a little more, I don't know, be more of a crash. They pull Kalisto out and put him on a stretcher and wheel him out into the back into an ambulance. And the entire time I'm sitting there thinking Braun Strowman's going to come back around and do the same thing that he did to Roman Reigns a couple weeks back. It didn't happen. There was certainly not enough room to flip another ambulance over on its side, so that didn't happen. Like I said, it wasn't really a spectacular match. Then we had 2 video packages, one of Roman Reigns talking about his upcoming match with Braun Strowman at Payback, and then another one of Bray Wyatt giving his match, talking about his House of Horrors match with um, Randy Orton. Sandwich break. If you ran to the bathroom, you didn't miss much. It was just flapping their gums, really. The next match was Alicia Fox versus Dana Brooke. Emma was out at ringside for the match. Very short match. It really wasn't much to go on. Dana Brooke won. As she's celebrating in the ring, Emma comes walking into the ring and hugged her, which is kind of a surprised her a little bit. And she leaves the ring, and that was it. It was a filler match. It really didn't do anything. Then they went backstage with Samoa Joe, the club, talking about how they're going to beat Enzo and Cass and Seth Rollins. Another SSDW match, except they threw Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe into it. So I guess that makes it completely, totally different. Enzo and Cass walks out. Enzo's doing his spiel. And then the three of them come out and lay waste to both Enzo and Cass. Seth Rollins comes running out to even everything up. And then the referees say that Enzo can't continue. So Kurt Angle comes out and says that we have a new partner for you, and it's Finn Balor, which made it at least a somewhat decent team. It kind of removed a little bit of the same shit, different week aspect of it all. It wasn't much. It was average. It'd probably be a lot better if it was a little more mixed up, other than the same people coming out every week. Rollins, Cass, and Finn Balor won the match. And then the next match in the group was the Kurt Hawkins, what do you call it? Superstar Factory. Being that he went up against Big Show and Finn Balor, and they went on the main events. So the next person who's going to be in line, out comes Apollo Crews. Finally, we're using Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews comes out, beats up Kurt Hawkins. Quick match. Apollo wins, and as he's in the ring cheering, Titus O'Neil comes out and raises his hand, and Apollo Crews is a little apprehensive on it, and Titus O'Neil is sitting there trying to take selfies with him, and I don't know. I'm not sure what to make out of all that. I mean, it would be one thing if they decide to turn Apollo Crews heel, which I think would be better for him. Maybe he can make something, a better shot at it as a heel rather than a face, because it's been 4 weeks since Apollo Crews had a televised match. They don't use him at all. I mean, I'm pretty sure he has matches, on the road and house shows, but televised, they're not using them. They need to put them into something that they can actually use them on. Then they have a recap of what Braun Strowman did to Kalisto, and trying to think of what they said. The injuries for Kalisto was he had a pelvic injury, and some other stuff. I can't remember what it was. There was brain fart. Interview with Heath Slater and Curtis Axel talking about Marine 5. The Miz comes out and they're still trying to find a tag team partner. And someone hands the Miz the note. And as he reads it, he says that he now has an awesome partner, and leaves. The next match in the main event, which is Dean Ambrose, Chris Jericho versus The Miz and his mystery partner. The Miz comes out and he says that he has his partner has a flair for the dramatic, and a couple of people in the crowd, if you heard carefully, they were trying to bite on it, and I for a second I almost thought about it. Thought it might have been Flair, but he's supposed to be retired, and doesn't. I don't see him actually coming to a match with The Miz. No, he says, "Here's my partner." Nothing. Here's my partner. Again, nothing. Then he's saying, "Well, the match has to be canceled." So he gets ready to walk out of the ring. Kurt Angle comes out and says, "This match continues whether or not you have a partner." To which The Miz comes back into the ring and gets pummeled by Chris Jericho and Dean Ambrose, which I don't mind seeing because I don't like The Miz. Keep going back and forth. They run The Miz up the ramp onto the platform. Dean Ambrose clears off the announcer's table, and it looks like he was going to give a power bomb to The Miz. All of a sudden, flash, flash, flash. The Bray Wyatt shit. Everything goes dark. Light comes on. Bray Wyatt is standing on the announcer's table, and The Miz is now on the platform. Bray Wyatt starts beating on Dean Ambrose. The Miz joins in, lays them out. Chris Jericho comes running up the ramp, and they start beating him up. Bray Wyatt says to The Miz, "Get him to the ring." They get him down to the ring. They throw Jericho into the ring. The Miz tells Bray Wyatt, "Hold up," and he gets into the ring and immediately eats a code breaker from Chris Jericho. Bray Wyatt comes in, beats down on Jericho, gives him the Sister Abigail. He's sitting there posing him on top of Chris Jericho, and The Miz walks up to him, pats him on the back, and he's smiling and everything. And Bray Wyatt spins around and gives The Miz Sister Abigail. Lays him out and gets down on his knees, does his pose, and yells, "Follow the buzzards." And so ends tonight's Raw. There was a lot of filler. Trying to think. there were quite a few. I think about 6 or 7 matches. I think so, a little bit more than last week, but they all just seemed filler. There wasn't anything that I really got excited for. Is SSDW. We've seen Enzo and Cass versus the Club, and Dean Ambrose versus The Miz ad nauseum. Granted, yeah, they threw extra people in there, so I guess that's supposed to magically make them new opponents. They probably, I could see the Sheamus and Matt Hardy match because Cesaro had Jeff Hardy last week. So, okay, I can see that. It was a singles match. One part of the tag team facing another part of the tag team. Almost the same, but at least it was that gave it a little bit of difference. The same thing with the cruiserweight people. They're putting it's the same people every week. They need to mix it up. I know there's a whole bunch of cruiserweights that they could, maybe one week bring out Noam Dar. I can't see. I don't follow the 205 people as much as I do with the main roster people, but they can at least mix up the matches more. Not showing us the same 4 people every week. It's either Gallagher versus Neville, or Aries versus Neville, or Gallagher versus Perkins, or Aries versus Perkins. I guess no one else is doing anything. The same thing with the big show. Cass and Enzo and the Club. It's just I'm tired of it. We had this superstar shakeup, and it's done nothing. It's especially on the Raw side. They need to put like Rollins versus The Miz, or Apollo Crews versus Strowman. That would be a decent match. I mean, chances are Strowman would probably, beat Crews because he tends to beat everybody else. But at least it's someone of comparable size, not putting him up against somebody who's like 100 pounds soaking wet, who'd probably be better off in the cruiserweight division. Not saying anything against Kalisto. He's a good wrestler. Same with Sin Cara. But they'd be better off in the cruiserweight, where a whole bunch of them are doing that flippy shit. Which you don't see a lot of the bigger wrestlers do. I mean, there are some that are rather acrobatic, but not to the extent of what you see in the cruiserweight. Another thing, where's the Universal Champion? Where's Brock Lesnar through all this? I mean, Brock Lesnar's always been a part-timer. He shows up sporadically, and they need to do more with him. Put him in a match with somebody. Put him, right now, the top belt on Raw is the Intercontinental title. The Universal title means absolutely nothing. Because there's, the person who's holding it's not there to defend it. He's not making any type of show on Raw. I'm pretty, like I said, I'm pretty with the other ones. I'm pretty sure he shows up on house shows. But what good is that? It does absolutely nothing if you're, you know, the people. You know, I'm not watching house shows. I don't know what's going on a house show. So when you have the cameras out, bring everybody out. You have 3 hours. Make a show of it. You know, stop wheeling out the same 10 people that we just saw wrestle last week. Okay, well, this time, you know, this person won, whereas last week the other person won. It's still the same fucking match. You know, same shit, different week. This week, Raw this week, I would probably say was of average, below average. I mean, just like a hair below the average line. I mean, hopefully, you know, after Payback and everything settles on to where, you have the Jericho Kevin Owens match, where either Kevin Owens or Chris Jericho are going to be going to SmackDown. I don't see Jericho winning the match because he's supposed to be going on tour with Fozzy. So keep the title on Owens. He stays on SmackDown, and he faces AJ Styles. That's getting on SmackDown, so it's not, you know, we'll take care of that tomorrow. But they need to work on it bad. Oh, and I just realized I forgot a match. Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks. It wasn't too long of a match. Sasha Banks won via countout. Bayley grabbed Alexa Bliss and tried to get her back into the ring, and Alexa Bliss ran away. As Bayley turned her back, Alexa Bliss came out and leveled her out. I do apologize. That match slipped my head until just now. That was a decent match. I mean, outside of it being short and but it was something that we didn't see before. We never, you know, Alexa Bliss, you know, wasn't on, you know, hadn't faced Sasha Banks yet, and she's supposed to be facing Bayley for the women's title on Payback. That was probably I would probably say was the better match of the night because everything else we've seen. But yeah, hopefully next week we'll have a better Raw after Payback. I can't think of anything else to touch on it. But yeah, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Your opinions on what Raw is, you know, the road that Raw is going down. If they need to change anything, let me know what you think. If you haven't already, subscribe. That way you can get updates on it when I post anything new. And we will be back here tomorrow for the SmackDown review. And hopefully SmackDown will be better, which it has been the past, I don't know how long. SmackDown's usually been a better show than Raw. But we'll see. I'm in Fatal Roadie. And remember, if it's too loud, you're too old. See ya.